Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're diving into the life of Sir Winston Churchill, a huge figure, statesman, orator, war leader. His career spanned, 6 decades, saw Britain through 2 world wars.
Absolutely. And our mission for this deep dive is really to look at his life almost as a case study in resilience. It's this incredible mix of, ambition, some pretty traumatic public failures, and this deep-seated belief he had a destiny to fulfill.
Okay, let's get into that. We often focus on him in the 1940s, the war leader, but that strength, that resilience, it must have been forged earlier. His political path wasn't exactly smooth sailing. Conservative to liberal, back to conservative.
Not at all smooth. And failure definitely played a key role. Think about World War I. He's First Lord of the Admiralty, pushing hard for the Dardanelles strategy in 1915. Gallipoli. It turned into a complete disaster. Huge casualties, strategic failure. He was blamed, forced to resign, called a reckless adventurer. I mean, that's devastating for a political career.
Yeah, how do you even begin to come back from something like that, being so publicly disgraced?
Well, what's really interesting is how he coped. He turned to painting. It was his way of dealing with the immense stress and what he famously called the black dog, his depression.
Right, the painting.
And he actually said something quite profound about it. He decided that the most vital quality for an artist, and maybe for a statesman too, was audacity, boldness. That really seemed to shape his comeback.
Audacity. That definitely fits his later career, especially during the wilderness years, 1929 to 39, right?
Out of power.
Exactly, out of government office, and he becomes this lone voice, increasingly isolated, actually, warning against appeasing Hitler.
Which wasn't the popular view at the time.
Not at all. And this really came to a head with the Munich Agreement in 1938. Britain and France agreed to let Germany take the Sudetenland from Czechoslovakia, hoping for peace for our time.
Churchill wasn't buying it.
Not for a second. He stood up in Parliament and just ripped into it, called it a total and unmitigated defeat. He predicted, correctly of course, that it wouldn't stop Hitler, just make him bolder. It was quite prophetic, really. And then, barely 2 years later, May 10th, 1940, everything changes. He's prime minister. Nazi Germany has conquered most of Europe. Britain's essentially alone.
The ultimate moment of crisis. And suddenly, his words, his oratory, they become this incredibly powerful weapon.
Absolutely vital. You think about those speeches, they still resonate today, offering nothing but blood, toil, tears, and sweat. That raw honesty.
And after Dunkirk, that absolute defiance. We shall never surrender.
He rallied the whole nation with those words.
Can't forget, never was so much owed by so many to so few either for the RAF pilots during the Battle of Britain.
Truly unforgettable. And that powerful rhetoric combined with his leadership was also key in building that vital relationship with Roosevelt in the U.S. Special relationship, as he later called it.
It's almost unbelievable then that after leading the country through all that, the British people voted him out in the 1945 election right after the war ended in Europe. It shocked many people. But the public mood had shifted. Focused on post-war rebuilding, social reform, they saw him perhaps more as a war leader than the right fit for peacetime.
Yet even out of office, he immediately makes another huge mark on the post-war world.
He does. Just a year later, 1946, in a speech in the U.S., he delivers that famous line, "An Iron Curtain has descended across the continent," basically framing the start of the Cold War.
But it wasn't all triumphs and iconic phrases. We have to touch on the controversies too, right? They're part of the full picture.
Definitely. You can't do a deep dive without acknowledging them. His time as Chancellor of the Exchequer in 1925, for instance, the decision to return Britain to the gold standard at the pre-war rate.
Yeah, that was heavily criticized by Keynes, among others. Damaged exports, led to unemployment, even contributed to the general strike in 26. A major economic misstep.
A huge one. And then there are the very serious criticisms concerning the Bengal famine in 1943 during the war. There are historical accounts and allegations about devoting food supplies away from Indian civilians.
And documented racist remarks attributed to him regarding the famine victims. These are deeply troubling aspects of his record that are still debated fiercely today.
They absolutely are. Essential context for understanding his complex legacy.
So weaving it all together, the failures, the wartime leadership, the controversies, the incredible way with words. It makes sense he won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1953. Not for fiction, but for his oratory and historical writing.
Exactly. For his brilliant oratory in defending exalted human values, as the citation said. So, after all this turbulent, impactful life, what's the big takeaway for you?
For me, it probably comes back to something Churchill himself said about getting through it all. He framed his own experiences, I think. That idea that success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts.
That really sums it up, doesn't it? He saw courage as the foundation, the quality he believed that guaranteed all the others, a powerful thought to end on.